You were 22. You just got your first real job. $2,200 a month after taxes. It's not much, but it feels like enough. Your apartment costs $750. Your phone is $65. You eat out maybe 4 times a week. $12 here, $9 there. By the end of the month, you have about $180 left over. Sometimes less. You tell yourself this is temporary, that this is just the beginning. And you're right. It is the beginning. The question is, Dowd, the beginning of what? Your days have a shape to them. You wake up at 7:14. You shower, get dressed, commute 35 minutes to a desk job that requires exactly the skills you already have. You do the work. Nobody complains. Nobody notices. You go home. On weekends, you watch things. You scroll. You make plans with friends that sometimes happen. You think occasionally about learning something new. A skill, a course, something, but it never quite becomes a priority. There's always time. You're only 22. Your savings account has $340 in it. Your debt, student loans, sits at $18,400. Life is fine. Not painful. Not exciting. Just fine. 4 years pass faster than they should. You're still at the same company. You got one raise, $200 more per month. In year 2, nothing since. You're making $2,400 now. Your rent went up twice. You moved to a slightly cheaper place. The commute is longer. Your coworker, the one who started 6 months after you, just got promoted. He'd been taking evening courses in data analytics for 2 years. You remember when he mentioned it. You thought about doing something similar. You didn't. You have $1,100 in savings now. It took 4 years to get there. You apply for a promotion. They say you're a valued team member. They say there's nothing available right now. They say, keep doing great work. You keep doing great work. Nothing changes. Here's what nobody tells you at 22. A salary doesn't grow on its own. It grows when the person earning it becomes harder to replace. That's the only mechanism. There is no other one. Loyalty doesn't do it. Effort alone doesn't do it. Time definitely doesn't do it. The market doesn't pay you for years served. It pays you for what you can do that others can't. Or won't. You didn't know that yet. Most people don't, until much later. You are 30. You are making $2,700 a month. You have $3,200 in savings. Your student debt is down to $11,000 because you've been making minimum payments for 8 years. You look at that number, 8 years, and something feels strange about it. Not quite panic, more like the early stages of a question you're not ready to answer. Your rent is $950 now. Your car payment is $310. You have a credit card with $2,400 on it from a trip you took 2 years ago and a dental bill from last spring. You're not in crisis, but you're not building anything either. A friend your age just bought a house. Another one is freelancing, making $6,000 some months, less in others, but trending up. She spent 3 years learning a specific skill, UX design. She talks about it like it was hard. It was hard, but she talks about it the way people talk about things that were worth it. You don't say anything. You smile and say that's great, and it is great. For her, you switch jobs at 33. A lateral move, $3,100 a month. Better title, same ceiling. By 34, you've realized something that you haven't said out loud yet. You're competing for the same jobs you competed for at 25. The only difference is that you have more years on your resume and the people interviewing you are sometimes younger than you. Your savings, $5,400, down from $6,200 because you needed a new transmission last fall. Your debt, $7,800 in student loans, $1,900 on the card. You think about taking a course. There's one online project management certification, $499. You look at it 3 times over 2 months. You don't buy it. The timing isn't right. Maybe after the holidays. Maybe when work slows down. Work doesn't slow down. There's a pattern that almost nobody catches until they're deep inside it. The cost of not learning compounds the same way interest does. Every year that passes without a new skill is a year where your market value stays flat, while everyone else's either grows or shrinks. There's no standing still. The ground moves whether you walk or not. At 22, the gap between you and someone actively building skills is small. By 34, that gap has a number attached to it. sometimes a very large number, not because they're smarter, not because they worked harder, because they chose differently, repeatedly, quietly, in small moments that didn't feel like choices at the time. You are 40. You make $3,600 a month. You've had 3 jobs in 18 years, all similar. Your savings, $8,100. Your debt, $4,200. You rent a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,150. You do the math one night, actually sit down and do it. If you keep going at this rate, saving roughly $200 to $300 a month when things go well, you'll have somewhere around $60,000 to $80,000 by retirement. In a world where financial advisors say you need $1.2 million to retire comfortably, you sit with that number for a while, $80,000, after 40 years of work. You're not behind because you made dramatic mistakes. You didn't gamble your savings. You didn't get scammed. You showed up. You did the job. You were, by most measures, responsible. But responsible and growing are not the same thing, and you've been responsible. At the same level, freeze for nearly 2 decades. Something changes that night. Not immediately, not loudly. It starts as a quiet kind of inventory. You begin noticing things you'd stopped noticing. The job postings that require skills you don't have. The conversations at work where someone mentions a tool, a method, a system, and you nod, but you don't really know it. The feeling of being slightly on the outside of your own industry. You think about the $499 course you looked at 6 years ago. You think about all the weekends, the hours, not wasted exactly, but not invested either. Just spent. There's no dramatic realization. No single moment that cracks everything open. Just a slow, uncomfortable clarity. The kind that feels less like discovery and more like finally admitting something you already knew. You've been waiting for the right time for 18 years, and the right time kept moving forward. Just ahead, just out of reach. Always just after this, whatever this was. You close the laptop. The apartment is quiet. You're 40, which means, by most estimates, you have roughly 25 more working years. Maybe a few more, maybe fewer. 25 years is not nothing. There's still a shape to what comes next that hasn't been determined yet. But shapes change slowly. And slow change requires starting before you're ready. You sit there for a moment longer. The $499 course is still up. You checked earlier this month. It's still there. You don't open it tonight. But for the first time in a long time, you think about what it would cost to wait one more year, not in dollars, in distance.